What's jam? Them the boy podcast, man, and I'm that boy B, you heard me? And look, I got a little special guest with me. Let me introduce him real quick, you know what I'm saying? So, before I really get into it, introducing him, I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. Let me try to introduce him, give him a little proper introduction, you know what I'm saying? Give him a little something, give him a little, see what he think about, you know what I'm saying? First, we're gonna tell y'all, look, he's he's a hitter for me, you know what I'm saying? He's one of them hitters for me. So I'm gonna break it down. We're gonna help break this topic down. So, like I said, he a good hitter for me. So we're gonna build this little hitter man, the myth, the legend, you know what I'm saying? That's my daddy, you heard me? That's my daddy. So, you know what I'm saying? He hold it down for me, you heard me? So, my daddy's name is Terrell Walker, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for joining me, your son, for one time, you heard?
That's all, baby. That's all.
Yeah. So today's topic, you know what I'm saying? Today's topic is, you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Yeah, hey, man, I don't know. Some people don't. Let's see if he can handle this topic, y'all. How do you feel about raising another person's child? It could, you know what I'm saying? When I sit there and say another person's child, it's not your child. It could be an adopted child. It could be a stepchild. It could be, you know what I'm saying, male or female, whoever's out there, you know what I'm saying? It don't really have to be just how do you feel about raising another person's child? You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about how you feel about the topic. First off, you know what I'm saying? How you feel about it? Let's go with it.
First of all, to me, I can only speak for me. I can't speak for every man out here.
Okay.
All right. Raising up another person's child, it all depends on how you look at it. I look at that once I married the woman that I married, the child becomes mine. I don't look at it as another person's child. I always look at it as mine. And if I raise that child the way I raise my children, then I want us all to be one big happy family.
Okay. Well, so for the people that's out there, you know what I'm saying, and they don't know too much about you. Well, so we're gonna break it down to let them know a little bit of history about you, not too much, but not a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna let them know that you're originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, out the Harvey, Louisiana.
West Jefferson. The real buck.
Well, I don't know nothing shit about that because I'm a Charger. I'm West Bay LJs, baby, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good. But, so West Jefferson. And so, question, when did you start having your first child? When was your first child?
My first child was when I was about 17.
17. Right. So, and your last child was when?
I believe I was 24.
About 24.
Yeah.
So out of 17, you was 17, you was 24 on your last child. Out of that whole span, did you ever deal with women that had kids?
Yes. I dealt with your mother, of course. And the way we met.
Even before her then. You know what I'm saying? Before her, did you ever deal with other women that had kids?
No.
Why not? If your mom asks, why not?
Guess I was young and I didn't really run into nobody that had other kids.
So they wasn't polluting like that?
No, they wasn't.
You know, this shit, because in my days, it was polluting early. We was polluting early.
No.
I know I made y'all the grandparents real quick.
You did, but your mother was the first woman that I met that had kids.
Okay.
Outside of the marriage that I had.
So how did you feel about meeting that lady and she already had kids? What was your mind for, like, damn, I ain't out of, because all them years you never met a woman that had kids, so now you deal with a woman that have kids. And how did you feel like when you first, like, man, this heifer got kids, man?
Well, when I first met her, I didn't know she had kids.
Okay, she lied to you or something?
No, she didn't tell me she had kids. When I first met her, I didn't know she had kids until I brought her home. And when I brought her home, I found out she had 2 kids. A little girl, and of course you. You know, you was crawling around in Pampers. All right, when I first met her. So after that we started talking. And when I first met her, I had my kids. And I was like, how am I going to make this work with my kids, with her kids?
So in other words, you had 2 kids.
Yes.
And she had 2 kids. She didn't tell you she had 2 kids until you brought her home. Right. When did you tell her that you had 2 kids? Because now, you know what I'm saying, it's like, okay, well, I you know what I'm saying, because she's not here, I can't ask her how she felt about the situation. But you know what I'm saying? How do you feel like when did you tell her that you had 2 kids as well?
It was a while.
What was the secret for?
Hey, because it was like when I first started talking to her, I didn't tell her I had 2 kids. I told her that my son was really my nephew.
So you lied trying to get the cookie?
Yeah,
Was it that for just for the
try to
cookie?
get the piece, because I just thought hit and run.
Oh,
But thought I was going to fall in love with her.
come on.
And after being around her, I fell in love with her. And after being around her and with the kids and how she interact with the kids, and I started interacting with the kids, I fell in love with the kids. So it was like, I guess what really made me love her kids is like my kids was taken away from me.
Mm.
And by my kids being taken away from me, I wanted to be that father figure.
Gotcha.
And I wanted to raise these kids like they were mine. But then after a while, when my kids started coming around, I wanted a big family. And that's how we started off with this. Because I guess if my kids wasn't taken away from me, I don't know how it would have been. But because they was taken away from me and I really didn't see them like talking about, I took your mother's kids as my home.
Okay. So you just try to replace something that you was already missing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So how as a man, how did that make you feel that your biological kids was taken away from you because you pursued another lady that already had kids? And you trying to get your kids to come back, or even if I don't even know if that's the good word to say, to come back, because they never really left. It probably was something dealing with the parents, you know what I'm saying? Y'all dealing with the parents, you and the mother probably was going through some stuff at the moment. But at the end of the day, it's somehow you had to get your kids back. So like me, like you said, me and my sister, we filled that void for that moment.
Well, you got to feel bleed. Anything that goes on between adults should stay between adults. You should never bring kids into it because kids don't ask to come here. Kids are here because of the mistakes we make. Some of us make mistakes, some of us don't. Some people call it mistakes, some of us don't call it mistakes. But once you deal with a woman or a man, you have to accept that whole package. And my thing about it hurted me not to have my kids, not for them to be in my life. But the thing about it is, I know they were still there, but I could not take and not like her kids because what was going on with me. So my love for her kids grew stronger every day.
Gotcha. So by that, you know what I'm saying, that your love grew for me and my sister, and we appreciate it. Real talk. We truly do appreciate it. So when it comes down to it, how did you accept me and my sister once you really found out, like, okay, now she got 2 kids, it's not a hit and run no more? You know what I'm saying? How did you try to accept, how did you tell yourself or tell your parents, I'm dealing with a woman that have 2 kids, now I have to deal with this?
It's easier when you deal with a woman that have kids that's younger than older.
Okay.
Because it's basically like you can mold them because they really don't know a lot. And basically, as young as y'all was, it was like y'all was more around me than y'all was around anybody else. But you was not there as much as your sister was. So it took a while for a relationship between me and you because you wasn't raised in that atmosphere with Keisha, Monique, and T.
Right. Right.
So when you did come into that part of it, it was your daddy's daddy that talked to him to make him understand that I was there not to hurt him, but I was there to help him because.
So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that into that a little bit later on in the topic, because we got some questions I wanna throw at you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And we're gonna break down the whole scenario of the full atmosphere, because you know what I'm saying, you have some people that's out there that's dealing with it and don't know how to deal with it.
Okay.
So we want to know from your experience, you know what I'm saying, because some younger kids around my age, or maybe your age, that just starting to have a kid, because some these older guys trying to pull up on these younger girls and pop them up with them babies too, and they don't know, be like, oh shit, I messed up. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, you know what I'm saying, they might want to hear from another man's experience on how did they work that family out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna pull up these little questions that I got for you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And we gonna rock with it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's rock.
Let's rock with it. First question. When you look at a child who doesn't share your blood, what is the exact moment you realize I'm not just helping out, I'm this kid father?
It all depends.
Come on,
Because
talk to me.
it all depends on, because you can't speak for everybody.
Okay.
Some people might do it quicker than other people. But for me, it was like you said, I wanted to fill in that void that I had. So when I looked at y'all as my own kids, because it was a girl and a boy.
Right, right.
And I had a girl and a boy. Okay. So it was like, all right, I kind of like took y'all underneath my wing because it was the void I was trying to fill. Then after I realized, I said, you know what? Now is that I can't treat y'all as somebody else's kid. I got to treat y'all as my kids.
Right.
You know, so because it's not right to say, treat my kids this way and treat her kids this way. If you're going to make a one big family, then you need to take and pull it all together.
So here's the question I have on that aspect, right?
Uh-huh.
I like how you say you can't be selfish, but you can be selfish because you taking on somebody else's responsibilities.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you like, man, this really not my kids. So you can take care of yours and I'll take care of mine, but we can try to pull this together. Because you have some men that think like that. Some men and some women think like that. Like, man, look, I'm going to treat mine better than I treat yours.
But again,
you know what I'm saying? Because I love mine, because I know what mine going to be.
right. But
You know what I'm
again,
saying?
you making the kid suffer for something that the kid has no reason to suffer for. So you putting the kid in the middle of two adults again. All right. So, yeah. So this kid is going to feel like, why am I being treated this way when I didn't do anything? So do you really want to put a kid in that environment? Because if you're going to put a kid in that environment, just leave the whole situation alone.
Well, you know, I just look at it as when you sit there and say, put the kid in that environment, right? It's not the kids that you put in an environment. It's the parents that putting themselves in that environment, because I think that as parents, because now I'm older now, because I know when I was in my teenage years,
Right.
I was dealing with women that had kids already.
Right.
And I played that role as stepfather, being a bigger person and all that, before I actually really started having kids. Because like I said, I know I made y'all grandparents real early. I started when I was 14, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Until them kids started like, whoa, now I'm really out here making kids, because I doubled back a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? Well, now we got a full, your mama got a full grandparent and great-grandparent list now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got some numbers on y'all now.
Oh, yeah.
So how was it from saying, you know, I fell in love with this woman, now I have to be this now I got to take this responsibility. You know, how was it for you in your mind frame now, from all your partners, your brothers, your friends, family members sitting there saying, man, you got your own, take care of your own. You taking care of somebody else's kid. You tripping, go back home or something. You know what I'm saying? How was that?
Well, again, everybody got their own opinions. And some people going to tell you, how can you raise other people's kids? Which I have people talk to me about that. How can you raise other people's kids and not your own kids?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you get your kids taken away from you, it's not your fault that you raising other people's kids.
Gotcha.
All right. So again, just like I said, if you're going to accept that woman, you got to accept that baggage. All right. So the thing about it is, why would you accept a woman and then dog her kids out? So that means
that'd be
I
bad.
love you, but I don't love your kids. Then how that's going to make her feel, or the vice versa, the man feel if he had the kids and the woman didn't.
Right.
How would that make them people feel? You know?
Well, shit, I wish I had a woman to find that out, but you know what I'm saying?
It can be, but you got to look at it. That again, if you're going to accept that woman, you have to accept those kids.
Correct.
But if everybody always accept people as not my biological people like that, when people get adopted, people look at these are my parents. They don't look at it that this is my adopted parents. Some people do. You know, I feel believe that, you know, when you go out there and you go adopt somebody, you don't go there and you tell me this is my adopted kid. You take that road. This is my kid. This is my son. This is my daughter.
Yeah.
And that's the role you take, you know, because it's just like saying, if you turn around and you have grandchildren, do you say, these are my step grandchildren or these are my grandkids? You know, so again, I can only speak for me. I can't speak for everybody because everybody takes things differently. You know, everybody look at things differently. But if you put everybody in the same boat, in the same category, we'll never be nowhere. Hatred is going to always go around. So when does it stop? You know, so do you go around and you tell them, I'm not going to talk to you because you have kids. I'm not going to talk to you, man, because he have kids.
But some people out there do that right now, though. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it. That I'm not going to say the back then men, but you have some men and some women right now that's choose not to deal with a person because they have children. And sometimes they not dealing with that person because they have children with a certain age limit. Like, they don't want to deal with... I'm gonna give myself by being an example. You know what I'm saying? If I wasn't married and I was searching for a woman, even though I got kids,
right?
She might not want to deal with me because I have kids,
right?
And sit down and say, "Man, I don't want that type of baggage." But I could be the best thing she could have ever had for her. Or it could be vice versa.
Vice versa, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like people do that today's time.
They do,
but they don't know what they're really missing of that blessing, because I feel that, and I'm going to hit on a little bit of our situation, is because if you would have sit there and say you didn't want to be a part of our family, you'd have been missing two of the best kids of your life.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because my thing about it is, growing up with y'all, it made me a better person.
Gotcha.
And it also made me whole when my kids came around, all right? But again, once kids grow up, you cannot make them talk to you. You cannot make them do it. Because, like I say, I have you, I have Keisha, I have Travell, I have Monique. My son, T.D., never came around, all right? And he's a grown man. You cannot make a grown person come to you. You have to come at your own free will to somebody. Okay. You know, because when you messing with a two-parent person and they split, and when your kids always listen to one side of a story, they're going to believe that one side.
Yeah.
You know, there's always three sides to every story. Your side, my side, and the truth.
Yeah. Somebody got to have the truth.
You on what you believe. You've only been told one side all your life. That's all you're going to believe.
Yeah.
All right? Until you told the truth. So my thing about it is, I wouldn't change anything that I went through. All right? Because like I say, to me, you my son. I don't call you my stepson. I don't call you my bonus son. I introduce you as my son. Now, I introduce my daughters. When people ask me how many kids I got, I have 5. I don't say I have stepkids. I don't say this. I have 5 kids, 16 grandkids. That's 7.
So you don't look at when somebody sit there and say, how many kids you got? You're like, man, I got 2 in the possible. I got 2.5 and 2 possibles. You know what I'm saying?
No. I don't play that game. It's all because you got daddy. If you introduce me as your daddy, and then I fool around there and I'm talking to somebody, and you come up there and you say, well, damn, I'm always introducing him as my daddy. But every time he introduced me as my step. So why am I introducing him as my daddy and he introducing me as my step? You know, so you don't know how that affects anybody, especially like, okay, you can call me your son when we're around each other. If we not around, it's like, hey, I walked up on him and I heard him tell somebody I'm his stepchild.
Yeah, that's something, you know, sometimes it's like,
when we together, that's my son. So
it's like you only want to make me feel proud when we
together.
Right.
We by ourselves.
But when other people are around,
exactly.
you ain't got that proudness in.
No. You know, It's like, why do people do that? You know, because you never know how that's going to affect somebody if they ever walk up on you and hear you say something.
Right. So here go another question, right? Let's keep it 100.
Okay.
Did you ever have a moment of resistance where you thought, why am I fixing a broken home that I did not break? Because, you know, today's time, if that biological parents is not together, That's a broken home.
Couple of times you feel that way, but again, everybody have their moments, then you have to come back and you have to realize, okay, you know what? This is a family. This is a woman that I met and I've been dealing with this. But sometimes when you get mad or you get angry, you get back and say, why am I dealing with this? I don't have to deal with this. I don't deal with my kids. Why am I dealing with her kids?
Yeah, man, that's a good topic. That's a good question.
And sometimes, but again, it's not the kids' fault.
Right.
So blaming the kids every time you get angry with the parent. So then that means when I get angry with the parent, I should get angry with the kids too. So then that's when I come back and say, well, I'm angry with your mother. Y'all not my kid. But
well, you used to do that back in the day.
Well, that's what
you used to do that back in the day. But we grown enough now.
You grow up.
Yeah. So, it's a learning experience.
You do things when you're younger, and when you look back on the things that you did, you come back and you say, you know what? Why did I do that? But as you grow older, you get wiser.
Yeah.
All right.
Because what age they say?
Yeah. Well, you know how they say you're young and you're dumb. But as you grow older, you look at it because now you look at when grandkids start coming into here. And then you look back and say, you know what? What do I tell my grandkids? I'm not your grandpa. I'm your step grandpa. I'm not biologically blood for you. How would these kids act after they growing up to know from a newborn baby calling you grandpa for you to walk there and say, I'm not your grandpa?
Hey, that would be funny as hell to me. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Exactly, but
I ain't gonna lie to you. I probably would be that type of dude, like for real. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I'm not all the way that bad, but man, look, if I was dealing with a woman that had kids and we was together, then a kid have another kid because we together, yeah, I play grandpa for that moment. But once it's over, man, I ain't your goddamn grandpa, man, going about your business, you hear me? I'm not about to play. I'm not about to take that love, man. Yeah. Go on about your real family.
But again,
I was on a little nigga that was smacking your grandma at that moment. That shit on that.
You got a lot of people think. But the thing about it is, when does it stop? Do we continue to live that way or we change that? Because everything comes around and we have to change. But if we continue to live with that in our hearts, when will it stop? So that means that, hey, it's a woman's fault that she had a baby for somebody else. Now, a man shouldn't talk to her. Or it's a man's fault that he's raising the kid after a parent died. He raises that kid. Now, the woman going to come back and say, well, I can't talk to you because you have a kid. Okay, so what do you do? Well, you know what? Am I supposed to just throw my kid away because I want a relationship with you, So you have to look at it that if I'm going to accept you, I have to accept that kid,
right?
So you're going to grow to love that kid. But the thing about it is, you cannot force a kid to come on, to call you daddy or to call you father or whatever. It's up to that kid if that's the way they raise. If they raise right, they're going to call you daddy. You're going to call them son or daughter if they raise right. If you're raising a loving family.
So because you said about a loving family, right? So when you raising children that's not yours, are you showing them conditional love or unconditional love? Because conditional love is on, you know what I'm saying? You can just come into it like, hey, man, I'm going to love you just because I'm with her. You know what I'm saying? I only love you because I'm with your mama. Once I leave her ass, I don't love you no more. You know what I'm saying? Man, I got real unconditional love for you because I grew on you. You grew on me and I grew on you. You know what I'm saying? And we have this bond.
Well, my thing about it is, it's supposed to be unconditional love because if you raise somebody and if you raise them half of their life or if you raise them all their life, then you look at it like this here. It'll hurt if we split up because if say if me and your mama split up today or tomorrow, I still consider y'all my kids. I would still hope y'all would come around me to say that's still my dad. So it's like,
I think we got a question like that. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to really jump into that question because I think we really do have a question like that in there. Okay. So I don't want to just ask that, you know what I'm saying, talk about that, then the question come up, then we got to talk about it one more time, you know what I'm saying? So we'll move on to the next question because we talked a lot about unconditional love and conditional love. But when you raising another man's child, right? Mm-hmm. Is it truly unconditionally for you? You know what I'm saying? Or is it just, I'm just here in the trenches just go day by day to see how this gonna work out for me. You know what I'm saying? Just like how you and my mom, you just, like you say, at first it was supposed to just be a hit and run, because you know what I'm saying, y'all was doing whatever y'all was doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, oh shit, now I'm caught.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, I'm in the trenches now. We in this foxhole, and we gotta shoot it out. We gonna really, is it day by day for you? Was it like, I'm gonna get this lady enough rope to hang us up, and soon as she hang us up, man, I'm out of here, damn hard, and them kids? Or was it just, man, I'm just gonna take my lick, be the man that I know my parents raised me to be, and I'm gonna take care of this here, and we're gonna make it work?
When we first got together, it was just like you said. I was mad. It was just a little hit and run. I wasn't worried about no kids.
So y'all was just cheating out here?
Just cheating. I wasn't worried about no kids. Hey, who cared about kids? Nobody really cared. Like you said, keep it 100. Nobody really cared. But then as years went by, we moved in together and we started being a family. You started developing this love and this relationship with the kids. You started saying, you know what? I can't look at these kids as somebody else's. These are mine.
Mm.
And as the years grew up, we grew closer and closer and closer.
Yeah, yeah.
So the closer you got, the more you did as a family, the more you became a family, you know? So if it was always the part by, hey, you know what, my kids are going by the other parent, or my kids are going by this one, you never had a chance to bond with those kids, you don't know how it would be. But when you have a time to bond with somebody, that love gets stronger and stronger.
Yeah, I can say that. I do say that. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. My whole thing is, you never know what kids bring you out of whatever foxhole that you need to bring. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes your own biological kids is not really there for you. And you always got to look at that and be like, damn.
You know, anybody can be a sperm donor. But it takes a real man to be a father, you know. And regardless on whether it's your kid or somebody else's kid, it takes a real man to be a father.
Correct.
You know, so, but then if you go around and you look at that, I'm going to treat these kids different than I treat mine, then you're not a real man, you know. So it's basically, again, these kids didn't ask to come here. I don't care on whether they're your blood or they're not your blood. If you can't raise a kid up as your blood, then why be around them? So
do you feel that, by you saying that, do you feel sometimes blood thicker than water, or that's just one of that just saying that's a myth?
That's just a myth, you know, because people say blood is thicker than water, but sometimes it's your own blood that hurts you, you know, and sometimes you need that water to wash that blood away.
Yeah.
But my thing about it is,
rinse that sucker down.
You know, so you can't always say blood is the best, because blood is not always the best. Because you got some sons hate their fathers. You got some daughters hate their father. And that's blood.
Or hate their mothers.
Or hate their mothers, vice versa. But you got some people, and you can have, that's not your biological people, love you better than your own kids love you.
Yeah.
So why would you treat them differently? Because you got people out here that's adopted, love these parents better than their own kids love them. So just because this is my blood, your blood always feel you owe me. You don't owe anybody anything. You know, I treat everybody the same. Now, whether you want me to treat you the same or not, now some kids look at it, oh, that's not your real kid. That's not your real kid. How you know? Was you there? So because you hear somebody say, how I know you my real kid. I don't know if you my real kid because somebody told me. You know, you got people come here and say, man, your son look just like you. Hold on, wait, he look just like me. But in your mind, that's not my real son. But you got people say, man, your son look just like you. Your son act just like you. But when you come back and say, oh, well, but then you got your real son, don't have nothing for you. Don't even act like you. Don't even like you. But then yet and still, you got somebody else's kid that looks like you, act like you. Because you know what? Your biological kids don't give a damn about you. You know, but, you know.
Because I know they say we look alike.
Oh, yeah, they say,
you know what I'm saying?
Say we act alike.
Yeah, I got a lot from you. That's what they say.
Right.
And it may be because when I was smaller coming up, you was there for me.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, my daddy was there too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But my daddy was more out than he was in. Because, you know, my grandparents raised me. And I appreciate and God and rest in peace, both of them, all three of them, really, my grandmother, my grandpa, and my dad. You know what I'm saying? We was working on a truck when I got that phone call saying that my dad passed away. You know what I'm saying? We was actually heading out of town to go to Alabama. To go do a load. Somewhere we was going somewhere.
We was on our way to Alabama when we had to make that turnaround when we here. But you see, just like I said, I can't speak for other people. I can't speak for other men. But we built a relationship of me, your dad, his grandfather, your mama. It was like whenever we gave something, Bull was always welcome to come there. When we first met, we had our little spat. We grew to where we can sit and we can talk. Hey, man, look, you taking care of my son, bro. Hey, you know what? Hey, man, when you come there and you used to sit there, me and Bull be sitting there, and you say, Dad, we both ask.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, who you talking? Who you talking about?
So by saying that, right? When you raising another man kid and both parents, both stepfather and biological father. Now, how do you feel that even though it was a long time ago? And I can't. I'm sorry, I can't ask my biological that question. You know what I'm saying? How did you feel when I sit there and say Dad? When I couldn't sit there and say Daddy Byron or Daddy Black or Daddy Terrell, I just say, hey, Dad. And both of y'all like, what?
Yeah, we both what? Because we both felt to believe we was your dad.
So as a man, when another man kid is right there, when he have his biological father right there as well, when he like, well, I wonder, should I answer for me? Or should I just let his biological dad answer to see who he's really, really calling dad? Because when he's not here, I'm daddy. Now that he's here, which one he's really talking to? Because you know what I'm saying? Sometimes with a kid that's younger, he get confused. Like, should I say daddy? And hopefully nobody get offended and nobody get in there feeling like, don't you ever call another man daddy when I'm right here in front of you.
Well, you see, that's when the real man come out. And see, that's when you don't put a kid in an unpredictable place. Because now you will be scared to say daddy to whoever. If you feel comfortable to call us both daddy, why can't we both be a man to sit back and answer?
Yeah, like y'all did.
You know, like we did. And get along with each other. Because the thing about it is, man, I got the best of both worlds. I got two daddies that get along. You know, hey, I can go to either one of them.
You know, some daddies don't get along with each other.
No, but that's crazy. Why? Because it's not this man's fault that he's raising your kids. It's not his fault.
It could be, though. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it
not
could
really,
be.
because
you know, if you cheated on them.
A lot of people say if you cheat on them, but a lot of people don't know about kids until it's too late.
Yeah.
So how can you sit back there and say, okay, like a lot of people say, if a woman cheats, I'm going to blame the man for it. Or if the woman is cheating or the man cheating, whoever cheating, I'm going to blame the other person. Why? The person you need to blame is the one you with, not the person on the outside. And then you got to always look at it that whenever somebody cheating, the outside person always know about
the inside person.
Correct. But the inside
so the pillow talking too damn much.
About the outside person.
Stop all that goddamn pillow talk, dear. So here we go again, now, right? What is the absolute unwritten rule when it comes to dealing with your biological father? How do you handle it when he want the title, but he's not doing none of the damn work? Well, because my daddy was there, like I said, my daddy was there. He did help out from time to time, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, rest in peace to my dad. But how about if you had a guy that did not do nothing for the kid? Like, you got some deadbeats like, man, damn that. But then soon as that woman get with another man and he's treating his kids good, he out there splurging on the kid, making sure the kid is... He at every function, and then he be like, well, hold on, damn that shit. That's my kid.
Well, the mentality in us always, we don't want nobody else raising our kid. It is not just men. Women are the same way. You know, they don't want their kids calling somebody else mother or mama. But it's okay if they go see a man, they want their kid to call this man daddy, because either that you really want them to call him daddy, or you trying to piss him off. You know, because you want to keep this beef going. But again, let stuff stay between adults and leave the kids out of it. Because if people would leave kids out of it, we would have a better place.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you turn around and you always want to tell your kid, oh, your daddy ain't no good, your mom ain't no good. Why are you bringing these kids into this? It's no reason to bring these kids into
well,
this.
you have them parents that always like to. But that's another topic. You know what I'm saying? That's another topic. I might have to go and think about sitting that one. You have the people that talk bad about the parent. Each parent. Each parent talk bad about once they're not together no more. But you know, it's different.
You got to look at it that some families are better off being divorced or separated because kids grow up into an environment to where they only raise one way, to where they only see violence, or they see this is the way to treat a woman, or this is the way to treat a man, because they see how their parents is treated. But sometimes you got to get away from that bad blood, man. Sometimes you got to get away from it, and you got to live a happier life. So you don't want to stay miserable all your life.
So by you saying that, right? And I think it's pretty funny. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because when people sit there and say the way I was raised,
right? You
know what I'm saying? I tell people I was raised good, but because I was raised by my grandparents.
Right.
Now, when it came to my parents raising me, I was raised as a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Because every last one of them was cheaters. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I got into cheating in my blood. So you know what I'm saying? You know, it was just in me.
And it's only because the woman you with now, you let go.
You for real. I'm retired, you know what I'm saying?
Keeping you 100.
I'm retired now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I'm like, man, my grandparents raised me. I'm a good guy, but I still have hoish ways because it was my parents was doing it. They as me being built that way, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Knowing that now, hey, shit, my stepfather, when he came in my life, he was a cheater. So I'm like, I got cheating all the way around the block. I can't run from it. So I had to become a cheater. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't have to, but you...
I was taught it. I saw it, so that was being taught.
So you just thought that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's the same thing I'm trying to tell you about kids. It's the way they raise and what they see. So if you see hostility in the family, you believe that's the way it's supposed to be. But if you raise a family with love and peace in that family, then that's the way you want to raise your kids.
So in other words, you're saying when you was raising me, helping raising me, right? You wanted me to be a hoe? That's what you're saying? You wanted me to be like, the shit. Because I did it when I was younger, and I ain't got my biological son to do it, so I got to put it in someone else.
I used to introduce you to her.
I used to smash every last one though. I had more. I was a hot boy like that.
I wanted you to be raised in an environment where you know where you was loved, where you didn't feel like you was nobody's stepchild, where you felt to believe that, hey, this man is raising me. This is my dad. So when it came around to you calling me dad, it's like nobody made you do it.
Correct.
You did it on your own. And I accepted that role. And I accept the role of being your dad. I don't accept the role of being step. I don't know about other people. I just don't look at it that way. Mm-hmm. You know, always look at it that this is my son. You know, hey, and just like I say, I look at it, I have 5 kids. I don't say I have 2 biological kids and 3 biological kids and 2 outside kids. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as, hey, I have 5 kids. When people ask me, 5 kids, 16 grand, 7 crates. I don't sit here and say, well, my kids have this many grandkids. Her kids have this here. I don't look at it that way. Some people do look at that. That's a divided family. Mm. And my thing about it is, when you all get together, how can you tell somebody, this is your brother, this is your sister, when you going to sit there and say, I'm going to go tell somebody else, oh, I only have 2 kids. Well, I thought you said that that's my sister, that's my brother. So, yes, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's when you raise it as a family.
Yeah, because I know I count all my siblings. I got a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't talk to my stepmom, my other brother Tita, you know what I'm saying? But that's his choice. I can't make him call me. I can't make him talk to him.
Right.
But I talk to him whenever he come around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whenever he want to come around, we chat if he feel like chat. But you know what I'm saying? People that know me know I got another brother. You know what I'm saying? Right. But when they always looking at the family, they don't never see him like talking about. But that ain't got nothing to do with us on that level.
That has nothing to do with
But
you.
we got another question though, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to have you ever, I can't remember even when I was a kid, when Keisha was a kid, or even maybe your biological kid that wanted to just piss you off. That sit there and say, man, and you got to discipline one of us. Have we ever sit there and said, or have you ever dealt with, no, because you say you never dealt with another woman that had kids but my mom. So have you ever felt that one of us sit there and say, man, you can't hit me because you ain't my daddy. You can't whip me because you ain't my daddy. You ain't been here in my life, man. You ain't my daddy.
When you were like about 8 years old, you turned around, you did something, I beat you, you all about, I'm going to tell my daddy.
Yeah, I remember like, yeah.
Dad came back to the house. And when he came back to the house, that's when your grandfather came there. And that's when he sit there and talked to your daddy and told your daddy, what you want that man to do? Let your son come there and just do this and do that? I said, look, I'm going to treat your son just like he's mine. He do something wrong here, I'm going to beat his ass.
But you know what I'm saying? I felt, and I wasn't 8 years old. I was younger than that. I had to be about 5, 6 years old because I know I was young, but I remember it though.
Right.
I remember because I was young. We had a 2-story apartment, and I was sliding down the steps.
Yep.
And you told me to stop. I'm like, man, I ain't even did shit. This is how I play. I ain't got no friends, none of that. And so when I did it again, you whipped my ass. I'm like, well, hold on now, player. I don't even know you like that. You know what I'm saying? You around, I don't know you like that.
And I believe that was the day.
Yeah, my daddy came over there with the gun and all that.
We got tight.
No, my daddy first knew
we got tight after that.
It was after the fact because
after your
my grandfather probably talked to him, but he came over there because he wanted to shoot you.
You're not going to beat my child.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, your child is living with me. He's part-time living with me. All right. So that's
when my daddy came and took me away from y'all.
Right. Because okay, you gonna let this man beat on my child, but then after that, then your daddy wasn't really doing nothing for you. Then it was like you came over there, you lived at the house, and one thing became another one. And just like I say, after that, we just all became one big family. It's basically. I think if Mr. Hadley wasn't there and he sit there and he talked to us as men, pull me and your daddy to the side and talk to us as real men, I don't know how it would have been.
Yeah.
But because of him saying that, hey, you know what? You ought to be proud that another man is raising your son. And I guess after I looked at it, he looked at it, we both sit there, we was like, you know what? For a better life for you and everybody else, we all need to get along.
It made sense. You know what I'm saying? It only made sense, you know what I'm saying? Because it's hard. I never had to deal with it.
Right.
Out of all the times that I've been dealing with all these women, and they did have kids, I never had to deal with it because I was my mind frame. You know how my mind frame back then, and I was hotter. You can talk to me like talking about, especially if I'm gonna shoot you.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? That's just me. I was hot-headed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't have it all from back then. I was hot as a firecracker.
And again, that's why you can't put everybody in the same boat, in the same category, because everybody is raised differently. Some men might look at it that, okay, he raised y'all the way he did, I raised this here. But the thing about it, again, you bring kids into something that they should not even be involved in.
I could go with that. All right, we got another one. If the relationship with the mother does not work, what happened to you deep down in your soul? How do you cope with the terrifying reality of saying, hey, I don't have no ties to this kid. This kid is not my biological kid. Me and this woman is not together no more, but I built this special relationship with this kid. Either he could be young as a 5, 6, 7 years old. You've been there through the hard times for getting him up, wiping his ass, whatever. Now y'all ain't there no more, and now you're young. How you deal with that type of situation?
I've dealt with that situation with my own kids, where when you don't have your own kids there, and I used to think about that. If something was to happen to me and your mama, how would I feel if you, Keisha, y'all would not come back and talk to me? Yeah, I feared that sometimes. and I would pray that it will never happen because I know how it feel to lose kids. You know, I don't know how other men feel, but I guess they feel or believe that it doesn't hurt men. But it hurt us deep. Hurt us deeply, especially when you know you have kids out there. And yeah, just because I went out here and did what I did, but nobody know the reason why people do cheat, because everybody gonna come up with their own story why they didn't. But you would hope that if something happened, that kids don't pull away from you. You know, that's just like saying, you know, same way with grandkids. Why would you turn around and say, hey, look, I don't speak to you no more because you're not with my mama or you not there. But if I raised you for years and we grew a love that was unconditionally, why would you pull away?
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? When a kid is smaller and younger, right? And sit there and say y'all don't have, and y'all been years, over a decade with a, you know what I'm saying? I would sit there and say it's easy to walk away from a kid then. But if he's grown, then he's older. That kid he or she is older. They have the understanding of, nah, this my daddy, man. Nah, mama, you could go do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But this guy that been taking care of me all this time, I know him. I know him. We have a relationship. I'm going to still deal with my relationship with this man. But when a kid is younger, he don't have that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So now that just mean now you just lost that part of your life. You lost that kid part of his life of saying, man, I really miss this kid. I really wanted to see this kid grow.
Right.
I wanted to be a real good father figure, a mother figure to this kid that I groomed to love, I was grooming this kid to a better person. Now, because me and the mom can't see eye to eye, or the dad can't see eye to eye, now this kid is out of my life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now that makes you feel that I don't want to deal with no more women with kids or no more men with kids. Because if you could take a kid away from me like that, I don't want it. If it is not mine, hell with it.
But my question is, when is there a right time to walk away from a kid?
For me? Oh shit, as soon as me and your mama gone. So me and your mama going. If you're not old enough to sit there and say, "Man, I want to deal with you because I deal with you like that,"
right?
I link with you like that. Because me myself, I'm gonna always let that kid, man. Look, here's my number. If you ever want to contact me, holler at me. Because I don't want to be the person that always reaching out to that kid and that mother sitting there saying, "Hey." He's only reaching out just so he can get closer back to me.
Right.
I don't want that. Right. When that kid called me, I want that kid to call me and man, look, tell your mom you want to come over here. Right. And it's all right.
Right.
You can come spend a night, we can spend a weekend, whatever. I'm always going to be there for that kid.
Right.
But for me to call a kid, I just feel that if I got to call that kid, then I think that mom always going to feel like I'm trying to get back with her.
It works both ways. You know, you call that kid call you. But most women.
Yeah, once that kid get grown and all that, yeah, most definitely.
What's
up, man? How you doing?
Most women hold kids hostage. You know, they want you, but they're gonna use that kid to try to get you back. So they believe they pull that kid away from you, that's hurting you. Some of them do hurt, and some of the men just like, you know what, it is what it is. But then it's basically like once your kid grow up to start hating you, it's hard to get that love back because they was taught to hate you, you know. And why women do that, why men do it, why do they turn kids against each other or against the parents? That's something that's out of my control.
Gotcha. So we got 4 more questions before we get up out of here, you know what I'm saying? So there's a debate out here that's saying some men say raising another man kid is a badge of honor. And some men saying, half of the men sitting there saying some of that shit is just a trap. What are you thinking on just for you? How do you feel about telling somebody that's going through it that's feel like it's a trap? How would you explain that to that person? Like, man, it's not a trap, it's a blessing. Because now you have a kid that you raised that's not your biological, that's not really a blood to you. You know what I'm saying? That love you like crazy. You know what I'm saying? How do you tell that person like, man, look, you could really be missing something?
Because, you know, you never know what a kid's gonna grow up to do. you never know how kids look at you to say, I want to be just like him, because the way he raised me to show me that you can take care of other people's kids because he took care of me. And it all depends on how you raise. So to me, it was an honor to raise y'all. It really was. And it made me feel so much better when we all grew together. Y'all, when y'all really became sisters and brothers and y'all looked at it that way, that made me feel good on the inside. So my thing about it is, to me, it's like, I can't speak for everybody else. I can't speak for the men out here. I don't know how they feel, but you got some men that hold things inside. It hurt them to say, hey, man, look, it was an honor raising other people's kids, but then you got these crazy women out here that make you make stupid decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, I wouldn't change nothing for the world.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Did you feel like you had to completely swallow your ego to accept this role, or stepping into a situation actually made you more of a man?
I was willing to accept this role. It didn't boost my ego. It didn't do anything. It was that I wanted the family.
So you ain't had to swallow that. Like, all right, I already have kids. I'm out here.
I always wanted, regardless on whether my biological kids, their mother, she felt, always wanted my kids to be a big happy family. Now, just like I said, parents don't get along. Parents split up. So let the kids make their own decision. Don't try to put stuff in kids' minds, or you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't be there, or I'm going to talk about this one, or I'm going to talk about that one. That just keeping hatred going.
Right.
Why can't we all just get along? Look, we all raising kids. Hey, if the parents get along, then get along for the kids. But I accepted that role, and I accepted it with great honor, and I enjoy it.
Hey, man, that's what's up. That's what's up. Because I'm in the same situation, right? Because my wife that I have now, she have two boys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That I didn't have the honor to raise.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Her oldest kid is locked away right now.
Right.
But I'm loving on him because I'm talking to him more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get more education on him because he's away. So once I get that privilege to see him, so he can actually see me, we can still actually see face to face on a constant basis until he come home.
Right.
We can actually build that common bond once he come home.
Right.
But he even though he's grown, he's going to be way growner then.
Right.
But that's when my time had to start as an older man to sit there and say, I still have to put this time in with this kid. Even though he's going to be a grown man, but he's still going to be a kid to me because he's my child, even though he's away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like I have to still love this kid, still support this kid, even though I don't see this kid.
Right.
And with her baby boy, he's out there playing basketball in whole nother country and I have to do the same for him as well.
Right.
But he be home soon, but then it come back to, hey man, we still got rules and regulations, even though you grown as well.
Right. And it's just like you say, like Naj, my daughter-in-law, I still look at her kids, my grandkids, regardless on what people would say, how they would say. I don't look at it just like when I introduce it, man, I'm Pawpaw, and just like you say, I'm called Pawpaw, I'm called Head Paw, it to me it's an honor, and why should I treat you differently? I shouldn't treat you differently. It's like when I meet it, hey, Cammy, hey, man, what's up, bro? Hey, brother. Hey, Paul, hey, I don't treat you no different than anybody else. And I'm going to treat everybody the same. I got grandkids, just like I say. You got kids that I think about these grandkids all the time. Whether I see them or I don't see them, they still my grandkids.
Right.
TD, he has kids, they still my grandkids. So I don't go around there just because I don't see you, don't mean that you're not part of me. You still part of me. Whether you want to be or you don't want to be. If you go back and you dig back into your ancestry in the tree, you still going to see this was my grandpa. This was this. Or however you want to look at it. you know. So it all depends on it, and it's all the mothers or the fathers that take these kids away, you know.
So we got 2 more questions before we lock it out, right?
Right.
If your kid grows up, like we all did, we all grown up, and decided they wanted a relationship with their biological parent, and you spent a lifetime providing for them day and night and day, and they sit there and say, man, look, I want to go build a relationship with my biological parent.
You should.
How would you feel? Would you feel portrayed like, damn, I've been here all your life. That dude never been there for you. Not one time he wiped your nose when you was sick, wipe your ass when you was a baby. Know what your favorite color is. Know what your favorite food is. Your favorite anything. He don't know shit about you. But now you gonna talk about, man, I want to go to him and want to learn him.
You should know where you come from. You should know that because there could be a time you get sick. You might need something from that person. And you might have something, don't know where it came from. But why shouldn't you know that side of that family? Why should I keep you from that side of that family?
But if he never been there and never did
it's up
something
to you. It's up to you if you telling me you want to meet that side of the family, who am I to tell you no?
So you don't have a self, you know what I'm saying? Like most men that have, man, that's a self. I can't say I'm selfish like that.
Right.
Because I never dealt with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
But some men be out here selfish like, man, I took care of you. I'll be damned he gonna take care of you right now. What the hell you want to get to know him for? He ain't never been there for you.
Why? Because I know if I would, you know, most adopted kids want to know who their real parents are. And a lot of times they get angry if you don't tell them.
Mm-hmm.
They say, I was waiting on the right time. When is the right time to tell them? Hey, look,
never a right time.
my thing is basically, so if something happened and you tell around, you tell the person, oh, I'm your daddy. There's something happened, blood types don't match, or something happened and you don't do this. Well, hold on. You told me that was my real daddy, but now you want to tell me that's not my real daddy because I had to find out this way. So I don't have a problem with
you going to learn your dad.
Going there and saying, I want to know who my biological parent is. I don't have a problem with that because you grown enough where if you knew you was raised over here with love and you betray me and say, well, I don't have nothing else to do with you because this is that, then that's your choice.
But do you feel betrayed though? Do you feel like, man, I can't believe you would do me like that? I did so much for you. You know what I'm saying? You thinking about what I did for you, and now that pointing the finger, what I did, how I did it,
to me, that's selfish because now it's like I was buying your love all this time.
Yeah.
And it's not that. Because now
you have some people that do that.
But you're throwing this in their face. All I did for you. Well, hold on, wait. I didn't ask to come in this world. Was that something you were supposed to do for me? Or is it something you did because you were with my mama? Or you was with
me? They can look at it that way too.
But when you throw something like that in somebody else's face, then you telling them that I did all this for you. Okay, well, you shouldn't have did it if you didn't want to do it from your heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Then why you want to throw it in my face? All I did for you. What did you do for me? You raised me.
What you supposed to do? Yeah, you supposed to do that.
So why are you throwing it in my face that all I did for you?
Hey, okay? Man, it comes out like that.
It comes out like that, but is that not selfish?
100%.
Or is that not saying the only reason why you here because I did this? Now you pay me back all what I did for you.
Well, you know, some people just feel that that at the end of the day, it's like sometimes that parent, I ain't gonna say it's some people.
Right.
Sometimes that parent, that wrong parent that thinks selfishly, gonna look at it that way. Cause like, man, I did too much for you to want to walk away from me like that. Some people look at it as disrespect. Like, I can't believe you. He ain't never was there for you. What the hell you mean? That's your daddy. That ain't your daddy, ain't your father. That ain't nobody to you. I'm everything for you. Cause I've been there since you was yay high to a grasshopper and I got you graduated and everything else.
Right.
No, my nigga, that you all for me. That nigga gotta take the back seat. I come first, he comes second. You know, shit. Now he the stepdaddy. I'm the biological.
Some don't look at it that way, but again, you would want everybody to know where they came from.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Know that.
Here's the last question for the closer out the day. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
At the end of the day, when the cameras are off and the house is quiet, what is the heaviest burden of raising someone else's kid that nobody ever warned you about? Nobody never told you about it? Just being married to someone, that's just a headache on its own?
No, like I said, I look at it that everything that I did, everything that I'm going to do, it was did with love. And like I said, I wouldn't change anything that I did. So I don't look back on saying something was a burden. Because when you look at it, the Lord sent things, put people in your path
In your life.
for a reason. You know, he bring them, he take them out. You know, he knows everything you do. He's the only one that can judge you.
Right.
So I look at it that, you know, the Lord put y'all in my life for a reason. And I enjoyed every moment I had. And the thing about it is, I'm happy with it. And I don't look at it as a burden. I don't look at it as a problem. I look at it as a joy, you know. And I enjoy raising y'all. I enjoy looking at the grandkids grow up. I enjoy everything that we do together, you know, and we do it all as a family. And that's the most important thing about it is, and I feel and believe, you know, not just because it's your mother, you know, that's the best woman that came into my life, right? And my thing about it is,
you ain't gotta
I'm
say
not
that shit
just
because I'm
saying
right
it,
here.
like you say, on camera, off camera, it's like I said, the Lord sent her this way. You know, everybody has problems in their relationship.
Most of that.
And we didn't had our ups, we didn't had our downs. But at the end of the day, we one big happy family.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and my thing about it is, I look at where I came from to where I am today. I look at how y'all was raised. I look at how the man you to became, the woman, Keisha, Monique, you know, Tootie, how everybody then came. And I can look back and say, you know what? I raised these kids to be the best that they can be. And, you know,
we all appreciate you too, Yerm.
you know,
even if they don't tell you, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to say it for them.
Right.
Even though I'm the little big brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to sit there and say it for them, even though they never told you that. You did a hell of a job on doing your best on taking care of us the best way you knew how. Because you know what I'm saying? There's not a blueprint or a book to sit there and say, you got to raise your kids this way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't follow that Bible word by word to find out how to take care, the way you had to take care of us, you did it the best way you could. And I appreciate it for all of us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even the one that don't want to talk to you, even the one that want to do talk to you and only talk to you for a certain reason. We all appreciate you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry you couldn't have a whole bunch of memes out there. You know what I'm saying?
Look at, you got some parents that's jealous of their kids, but me, I look at my kids supposed to do much better than what I do. And it makes me proud to sit back and say, oh, look what my son did. Look what my daughter did. Look at the person they're going to be. And then you look at it to say, you know what? I raised them kids right.
Yeah.
And when you can sit back and you can look at your offsprings and you can see, and you look at the way y'all raising y'all kids, it makes you proud. It makes you proud. You know, whether you biological or you're not biological, you know, hey, you can always be my son. Keisha can always be my daughter. Travell, T.D., regardless whether you're around or not, can always be my son. You know, Monique, all y'all, you know. But my thing about it is, hey, if I close my eyes today or tomorrow, I want y'all all to know y'all been loved.
Hey, man. And that go both ways, you know what I'm saying? Because most definitely it's going to be that. Well, that's our time, everybody. We really do appreciate for keeping us company as we keep y'all company, you know what I'm talking about? Again, that's my daddy Terrell, you hear me? We keep it tight, we keep it gutter. We talk about what you want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, comment, subscribe. Get in that DM, man. Hit me up, man. Leave a little comment in that thing. I read that thing. You know how I get down. You know what I'm saying? Again, thank you, Dad, for coming on and talking about this topic for me. You know what I'm saying?
Anytime.
Love you, man.
Love you too.
Everybody, holla at y'all. Them Boy Podcast, you heard me? I'm that boy B. Get with me, man. Later.